Hello there, and welcome. Well, here it is Friday, and I'm to tell you another Anomaly story. This one has haunted me for years, and I'm sorry to say you shouldn't be anticipating a happy ending. I was in my second year of teaching. My first year I taught math, and the second year I was teaching English. And I had a student in one of my classes who was aggressive and disrespectful. He was a big kid, 14, 15 years old, 6'2" and stocky, and he was mad all the time. He was very disrespectful to me, and he was hateful to the other students. I wasn't quite sure what to do about him. So, because I was a trained young teacher, I requested a parent-teacher conference. I had assumptions in my head about who might come to a parent-teacher conference for this young man. I was young, and I was always intimidated by parents. I thought of my students' parents as like my parents, and I just always found my parents very high above me. And so I was scared about asking people to come and meet about their children, but this young man was really difficult to deal with, and I had this pie-in-the-sky idea that if I spoke to his parents, they would give me suggestions that would help guide his behavior better, and that they might counsel him at home to be more pleasant and kind and polite to me. So we scheduled a parent-teacher conference, and the woman who came in was the boy's grandmother. She may have been 4'9" tall. She was tiny, a wee little darling that was kind of bent over. She looked a little bit like a doll. And she came in and sat down. I sat down, and we began talking. I described her grandson's behavior and what I was concerned about, and asked what she felt I should do. And she proceeded to share some things with me. The first thing she shared was that her daughter, the boy's mother, had left him with her and his grandfather, and that they were raising him. So the words abandoned child floated through my mind. And I knew something of it in a clinical sense. I had studied psychology, so I knew that abandoned children can sometimes be very difficult to deal with. And as she continued to talk, it came out that she and her husband were in fact afraid of this boy, and that as bad as he was to me and to his fellow classmates, as antisocial as he was toward me and his fellow classmates, he was worse to them. She said, "I don't know what you should do. We're afraid of him." It knocked me down internally. I did not know what to say to this woman. I didn't know if there was even a way to help her. I didn't know if I would be able to even share what she had shared with me with someone else. I'm not even sure that I've shared this story much with anybody ever. Maybe a few people. What was I to do? How was I to respond to this darling little woman? I knew nothing. Maybe the grandfather was cruel, maybe not. Maybe the father, who she never mentioned at all to this child, had abandoned the mother in the first place, or even violently attacked the mother. Maybe this child was an unwanted, abandoned child and had built up over time this ferocious rage about his life and his situation. Something that years of therapy might or might not help. What was the result of this incredible and terrible experience? That afternoon, after she left, I decided I will never again request a parent-teacher conference. My instincts had been completely blown away by the situation. We all have instincts. We all have that little set of switches and levers inside us, sort of the gut or the hunches of our lives that tell us whether somebody's dangerous or just loud, or whether a situation is problematic or just surprising. All of my instincts, which I had trusted up until that moment in my life, had failed me. They'd gone silent as she explained to me that she was afraid of her own grandson, who was clearly so much physically powerful than her or her husband were bound to be. And that is one of the greatest truths of my teaching experience, was I've only requested one parent-teacher conference in my life. That was it. And after it was done, I said to myself, you don't need to do that to anybody ever again. If somebody wants to talk to you, they can talk to you. You do the best with the kids in your room that you can. If you need to send them to the office occasionally, fine. But try not to even do that. You deal with people yourself. And you try to help them become the people they need to be yourself. And if their parents want to get involved, that's their parents' business. But I never again, ever, in 34 years, requested a parent-teacher conference. Maybe that was the wrong way to respond to that experience. I don't know. It was just so scarring that it actually did change me. It made me face the fact that my instincts could fail me. They could lead me to be a dumb and miserable creature looking at a little woman that I could not help because I didn't have the good sense to know how. I hope that you never have to face a situation like that poor little woman did. But I know they're out there. I know there are people out there lonely, suffering, exploited, and living in fear. And when I was teaching, my classroom was to be their sanctuary. I might not be able to fix anything else that they faced, but when they walked in my classroom, they were a person, and I was going to do my best to treat them with a little dignity and a little respect. I teased people, I did. Sometimes I hurt kids' feelings, I did. Sometimes I made mistakes, those all happened. But I always wanted to be the room where they would be safe. That's all I have for today. I hope you have a good rest of the day, and I hope you see me again, you gorgeous people.